world today feels like a relentless, cacophonous symphony of information, doesn't it? A never-ending avalanche of tweets, headlines, sound bites, and notifications, all vying for our attention, all demanding our immediate reaction. We scroll through endless feeds, bombarded by conflicting narratives. One moment, a scientific breakthrough promises a brighter future, the next, a dire warning of impending collapse. Experts contradict each other with unwavering certainty, echo chambers amplify our existing biases, and every algorithm seems engineered to push us deeper into our own personalized rabbit hole of belief. Consider the news cycle alone, a whirlwind of breaking stories that are breaking one minute only to be entirely forgotten the next, replaced by an even more sensational event. Political discourse often devolves into shouting matches, where nuance is sacrificed at the altar of viral outrage, and genuine dialogue feels like a relic of a bygone era. We're awash in opinions, everyone has one, and every opinion, it seems, is given equal weight regardless of its foundation. Conspiracy theories proliferate faster than verifiable facts, fueled by a deep-seated distrust in established institutions. How do we discern truth from fabrication, fact from fervent belief, in such an overwhelming environment? How do we find common ground when the very foundations of shared reality seem to be crumbling under the weight of subjective interpretation? The sheer volume is staggering, making thoughtful reflection a luxury few can afford in the constant rush to keep up. We are perpetually stimulated, yet often feel intellectually starved, emotionally drained, yet constantly compelled to engage. It's a paradox of modern existence, more access to knowledge than ever before, yet a profound sense of disorientation and fragmentation. We crave clarity, but are drowned in noise. We seek understanding, but are lost in a sea of data without discernible patterns. Society itself appears to be fragmenting, pulling in countless directions, each faction convinced of its own righteousness, unable or unwilling to bridge the widening chasms of ideology and worldview. The very idea of collective progress, of moving forward together, sometimes feels like an unattainable dream amidst this perpetual struggle for dominance of narrative. Do you ever feel this way? Do you ever find yourself pausing, perhaps after hours spent absorbing digital content, and wonder if you've truly gained any insight, or merely been spun around by the relentless churn? Do you ever feel utterly lost in the clamor, struggling to locate a stable compass point in this swirling maelstrom of conflicting voices and competing truths? What if there was a system, a truly coherent and robust intellectual framework designed precisely to make sense of this pervasive chaos, a methodology for cutting through the endless static, for discerning what is genuinely knowable from what is merely speculative, for identifying clear pathways toward understanding and, ultimately, order? It might surprise you to learn that a potential answer, a profound lens through which to view and structure our complex 21st century world, comes not from the latest Silicon Valley guru, nor from some contemporary thought leader, but from a towering figure of the 19th century. Imagine a philosopher from an era seemingly so different from our own, a world without the internet, without instant global communication, without the exponential information growth we now navigate daily. Yet, this individual, Auguste Comte, the very architect of what he termed positivism, conceived of a way of thinking that might just be the crucial antidote to our modern predicament. Could a mind that flourished amidst gaslight and horse-drawn carriages, amidst the nascent stages of industrialization, truly offer a guiding light for our hyper-digital, hyper-connected, and often bewildering contemporary existence. Kant believed so profoundly in the power of human reason and systematic observation that he sought to create an intellectual and social order based on verifiable knowledge. At its heart, positivism is an invitation to embrace a way of thinking anchored firmly in evidence, not opinion. It's a call to move beyond mere speculation, beyond unprovable assertions, beyond the sway of personal biases and inherited dogmas. Instead, it champions the rigorous pursuit of knowledge derived from observable facts, from empirical data, from the verifiable insights of scientific inquiry. Picture a philosophy that seeks to unify all human knowledge under a single, coherent, and demonstrably true framework, guiding us toward genuine understanding and consensus. Imagine a societal blueprint where decisions, policies, and collective actions are grounded not in fleeting fads, partisan rhetoric, or deeply entrenched emotional appeals, but in what we can objectively observe, measure, and ultimately prove. That, in essence, is the audacious and profoundly relevant promise of positivism. It's a quest for intellectual and social order in a world desperately craving both. Welcome. Take a moment, if you will, to consider the sheer volume of information that assails us every single day. From our screens to our conversations, we are constantly bombarded with news, opinions, ideologies, and competing claims about what is true, what is right, and how we should live. It's a relentless torrent that can feel at times utterly overwhelming, leaving us adrift in a chaotic sea of noise, struggling to discern fact from fiction, wisdom from mere assertion. I confess, for a significant part of my life, this exact feeling was my constant companion, a deep, unsettling sense of intellectual and even moral vertigo, unsure of which way was up amidst a world of conflicting narratives, each vehemently championed by its proponents, all vying for intellectual supremacy. It was precisely this profound personal struggle that led me, perhaps serendipitously, to the work of Auguste Comte. You might know him, or at least have heard whispers of his name, as the father of sociology. But to simply label him an academic founder would be to miss the extraordinary, audacious scope of his vision. Kant wasn't merely interested in categorizing society, he was a revolutionary thinker, a grand architect of ideas who dared to propose nothing less than a complete, systematic overhaul of how humanity understands itself, its history, and its potential future. His seminal work, A General View of Positivism, isn't a dusty academic tome locked away in an ivory tower. It is, in my experience, a remarkably powerful, deeply human tool, a profound operating system designed for both personal clarity and societal improvement. It's a book that, quite literally, brought me out of that swirling chaos and gave me a dependable compass, pointing towards a clearer intellectual horizon. So, what is this positivism in its simplest, most digestible form? Imagine building a magnificent structure, a towering edifice of knowledge, not on shifting sands of popular belief or the ephemeral mists of unchecked speculation, but on solid, unshakable bedrock. That bedrock, for Kant, is verifiable fact. Positivism, at its essence, is the philosophy that insists our understanding of the world, our knowledge, our science, and even our morality must be built upon a foundation of what we can empirically observe, test, measure, and ultimately verify. It's a radical call to move beyond the theological explanations of the supernatural and the abstract metaphysical reasoning of pure philosophy towards an era where human intellect confidently grounds itself in the observable laws of nature and society. It's about stripping away layers of unfounded assumption, challenging dogma with data, and seeking truth in the tangible, the repeatable, the undeniable. This isn't a cold, calculating materialism, but rather a disciplined, optimistic approach to discovering reliable truths that can genuinely benefit all humanity and foster collective advancement. For me personally, this shift was profoundly transformative. I had spent years immersing myself in diverse philosophies, spiritual traditions, and political theories, only to find myself increasingly paralyzed by their inherent contradictions. Each system presented its own set of unprovable first principles, its own unique lens, often leading to more confusion than clarity, leaving me intellectually exhausted and emotionally unmoored. Then came Kant's framework. It wasn't about discarding personal values or spiritual meaning. Rather, it offered a method for evaluating ideas and beliefs, for distinguishing between robust understanding and mere wishful thinking. It provided a clear, consistent lens through which to analyze social phenomena, human behavior, and even my own internal landscape. It wasn't about telling me what to believe, but how to construct reliable beliefs based on observable evidence. This was the compass I desperately needed, a way to navigate that overwhelming sea of information, allowing me to build my own intellectual and ethical framework on grounds that felt stable, coherent, and profoundly human. It brought a kind of clarity and purpose that had eluded me for so long, turning a labyrinth of ideas into a navigable, purposeful path. And that, fundamentally, is the ambitious goal of this video series. We're not just going to study Kant's A General View of Positivism as a mere historical document. We're going to engage with it as a vital, living philosophy, a sophisticated operating system for society waiting to be rediscovered and reapplied. Over the coming episodes, we'll delve deep into its core tenets, explore its vision for human progress, and critically examine its often misunderstood, yet undeniably profound, relevance in our hyper-connected, yet often fragmented 21st century. Our aim is to uncover how this powerful, sometimes controversial, 200-year-old idea can still serve as an incredibly potent tool for personal development, for fostering more reasoned and productive public discourse, and for guiding us towards more intelligent and compassionate collective action. Join me on this journey as we explore how the enduring wisdom of Auguste Comte can help us build a more enlightened, more harmonious, and ultimately a more truly human future today. I genuinely believe its insights matter more now than perhaps ever before. Welcome to Chapter 1. Humanity's Growth Spurt, the Law of Three Stages. To truly grasp the profound vision of Auguste Comte, we must first understand the bedrock upon which his entire philosophy rests, his groundbreaking law of three stages. This isn't just an abstract intellectual theory, it's a compelling narrative of humanity's intellectual evolution, a journey from mental infancy to enlightened maturity. Imagine, if you will, the trajectory of a human being from wide-eyed childhood wonder through the turbulent self-discovery of adolescence to the grounded, evidence-based reasoning of adulthood. Kant argued that human knowledge, and indeed entire societies, follow a strikingly similar developmental path. Our journey begins in what Kant termed the theological stage. This is the childhood of human thought. In this phase, people explain all phenomena from the majestic sunrise to the devastating earthquake, from a bountiful harvest to a mysterious illness, by attributing them to the direct intervention of supernatural beings or divine will. Why does the river flood? The river god is angry. Why did our crops fail? We offended the deities. Why did that person fall ill? A malevolent spirit has possessed them, or perhaps it is divine punishment. The world is seen as animated by conscious, volitional entities, much like ourselves, but infinitely more powerful. Think of ancient mythologies, where every aspect of nature has a personal god or goddess pulling its strings. Knowledge is sought through prayer, ritual, and divination. The priest or shaman, the intermediary with the divine, holds immense authority. This is akin to a child's world, where explanations for the inexplicable are often magical. Why does the money appear under my pillow? The tooth fairy brought it. How do all these presents get under the tree? Santa Claus, of course! There's an absolute, unshakable belief in these unseen, benevolent, or sometimes fearsome entities who directly cause events. It provides comfort, a sense of order, and a simple explanation for a complex world, even if that explanation is entirely fabricated from imagination and faith. It's a stage characterized by unquestioning belief in external, personal, supernatural agents. As humanity matures, it enters the metaphysical stage. This is the adolescence of our intellectual journey, a phase of questioning, of seeking deeper, more abstract explanations. Here, the direct intervention of gods and spirits begins to recede. Instead, phenomena are attributed to abstract forces, inherent essences, or personified abstractions rather than specific deities. Think of Mother Nature deciding to unleash a storm, or humanity's destiny guiding the course of civilization, or the concept of a vital force animating living organisms rather than a specific god of life. It's a less personal, more conceptual explanation, often based on philosophical speculation rather than empirical observation. Gravity might be explained as a tendency of matter to coalesce, or illness as an imbalance of humors or essences, rather than the direct will of a god. This is much like the teenage years. The simple, magical explanations of childhood no longer satisfy. We begin to question the existence of Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, but we're not yet ready for the cold, hard facts of the adult world. Instead, we delve into abstract philosophical debates. What is the meaning of life? What is truth? What is justice? We might attribute our moods to the universe or our actions to fate. We wrestle with concepts like freedom or reason as if they are tangible forces. The world is explained through inherent powers or forces residing within things themselves, or through abstract qualities, but without concrete, verifiable evidence. It's a transitional phase marked by a critical spirit but still lacking a rigorous empirical methodology. Philosophers, rather than priests, become the dominant intellectual figures, debating the true nature of essences and causes. Finally, humanity reaches its intellectual adulthood, the positive or scientific stage. This is Kant's ultimate vision, the culmination of human intellectual development. In this stage, humanity abandons the search for ultimate causes, whether divine or abstract. Instead, it focuses on observable facts, experiments, and the establishment of verifiable laws that describe how phenomena occur, not why in any ultimate sense. We seek to understand the regular relationships between events, to predict them, and ultimately, to control them for human benefit. Why does the river flood? Because of specific meteorological patterns, rainfall accumulation, and the river basin's topography. Why do crops fail? Due to measurable factors like soil nutrient depletion, pest infestations, or drought, all understood through scientific observation and analysis. Illness is explained by germ theory, genetics, and physiological processes, all verifiable through scientific methods. This mirrors the mature adult who approaches life with a practical, evidence-based mindset. The belief in Santa has long faded, replaced by an understanding of economic realities and parental generosity. Teenage angst and abstract philosophical musings give way to making decisions based on data, experience, and logical consequences. You budget based on your income, choose a career based on skills and market demand, and seek medical advice based on scientific consensus, not magical thinking or vague philosophical principles. The focus shifts from unknowable whys to knowable hows, empowering us to predict and improve our circumstances. Science, with its emphasis on observation, experimentation, and verifiable data, becomes the paramount method of acquiring knowledge. Engineers and scientists, armed with empirical insights, become the driving force of progress. Comte believed that societies, like individuals, progress through these stages, moving from a theological worldview through a metaphysical one, and finally arriving at a scientific understanding of the world. For him, the positive stage was not merely an intellectual advancement, but the very key to social order and human flourishing. Understanding this progression is fundamental to appreciating his vision for a reformed, scientifically governed society, which we will explore further in the chapters to come. Welcome back. In our last chapter, we laid the groundwork for understanding Auguste Comte's monumental project Positivism. Now, we delve into the very heart of his intellectual architecture, a concept that not only organized all human knowledge, but also boldly declared the ultimate purpose of science itself. This is Chapter 2, the blueprint for knowledge, the hierarchy of sciences. Imagine, if you will, a magnificent intellectual pyramid, a towering structure built brick by logical brick, each layer resting firmly upon the one beneath it, reaching skyward towards a profound understanding of the universe and our place within it. This is how Comte envisioned the sciences, not as disparate fields, but as an interconnected, interdependent hierarchy, progressing from the simplest and most general to the most complex and specific. At the bedrock, the immovable foundation of this grand edifice, lies mathematics. It is the most abstract, the most fundamental, providing the essential language and tools for all subsequent inquiry. Without its rigorous logic and precise calculations, no other science could truly take root. Building directly upon mathematics, we find astronomy. Here, the abstract principles of number and space are applied to the concrete realities of celestial bodies. You couldn't begin to accurately plot a planet's orbit or predict a comet's return without a firm grasp of mathematical principles. Astronomy introduces the idea of observation and law, but within a relatively simple system. Next, climbing a rung higher, is physics. This field expands upon astronomical principles to study the fundamental properties of matter and energy on Earth: motion, light, heat, sound, electricity. It's more complex than astronomy, dealing with a wider array of phenomena, but still relies heavily on mathematical description and prediction. Our journey continues with chemistry. This science delves deeper into the composition, structure, properties, and reactions of matter, exploring how elements combine and transform. Chemistry introduces a new level of complexity and specificity, as it investigates the internal workings of substances, something physics might treat as a given. You couldn't understand a chemical reaction without first understanding the physical laws governing its components. From the inorganic world, we ascend into the vibrant realm of life with biology. This discipline studies living organisms, their structure, function, growth, origin, evolution, and distribution. Biology represents a significant leap in complexity. While it depends on the laws of physics and chemistry for the functioning of cells and organs, it also introduces entirely new concepts like organic structure, adaptation, and reproduction, which cannot be reduced solely to chemical or physical explanations. To understand a living system, you must first comprehend the chemistry and physics that sustain it. And now, we reach the magnificent apex of Comte's pyramid, the crowning glory of his scientific hierarchy, sociology. Positioned at the very top, sociology is the most complex, the most specific, and arguably the most important science in Comte's eyes. It is the study of human societies, their structure, development, and functioning. Just as biology builds on chemistry and physics, sociology builds on all the sciences that precede it. To understand a society, Comte argued, you must understand the biological nature of its members, the chemical processes sustaining them, the physical environment they inhabit, the astronomical cycles influencing their world, and the mathematical patterns underlying their interactions. The logic behind this arrangement is crucial. Each science in the hierarchy requires and presupposes the knowledge of the sciences below it. You cannot adequately study the complex interactions within a society without understanding the biological beings that constitute it. You cannot grasp biology without chemistry and physics, nor physics without astronomy, and certainly none without the fundamental language of mathematics. As you ascend the pyramid, the phenomena become more complex, more specific, and less general, but also more directly relevant to human experience and well-being. This brings us to Comte's truly revolutionary idea, the assertion that society itself can be studied scientifically, just like the natural world. Before Comte, discussions about society often resided in the realms of philosophy, theology, or moral speculation. Comte declared that human social life, with all its intricacies and apparent chaos, operated according to discoverable laws, much like gravity governs the fall of an apple or chemical reactions obey stoichiometry. He believed that by applying the rigorous methods of observation, experimentation where possible, and comparison, the very tools proven successful in the natural sciences, we could uncover these societal laws. He essentially birthed the idea of a social science. The implications of this were and remain profound. If society operates according to predictable laws, then understanding those laws grants us immense power. It means we can move beyond simply reacting to social problems and instead systematically address them. If we can diagnose the underlying causes of poverty, crime, ignorance, or conflict with the precision of a physician, then we can prescribe equally precise, evidence-based solutions. Sociology for Comte was not merely an academic exercise, it was the ultimate tool for social engineering. It offered the promise of a rational, scientific approach to improving the human condition, to building a better, more harmonious, and more prosperous society. It was the blueprint for progress, allowing humanity to consciously direct its own evolution, guided by reason and scientific understanding. This was the pinnacle of positive philosophy, transforming our understanding of the world into the capacity to reshape. Welcome to Chapter 3, The Engine of Society, Order and Progress. In our exploration of Auguste Comte's profound vision for humanity, we now arrive at what he considered the foundational principle for any thriving civilization, a dynamic equilibrium that underpins all social development. This chapter focuses on his central political idea, the indispensable need for a perfect balance between order and progress. For Comte, these weren't opposing forces to be championed by rival factions, but two sides of the same essential coin, both absolutely critical for the health and vitality of society. He believed that society, much like a living organism, requires a stable base from which to evolve, and that evolution must, in turn, respect and build upon that foundation. The harmony between these two concepts is, in his view, the true engine driving human collective advancement. Let's first clarify what Comte meant by order. It's crucial to understand that he did not equate order with rigid, authoritarian control or a static, unchanging social structure. Far from it. For Comte, order signified the fundamental social harmony that provides a stable, cohesive foundation upon which all other societal functions can reliably operate. It represents the shared values, traditions, customs, and institutions that bind individuals together into a collective whole. Think of it as the collective conscience, the implicit rules of engagement, the mutual understanding and trust that allow people to live, work, and interact peacefully and productively. It's the sense of belonging and predictability that prevents chaos and fragmentation. Without this fundamental social consensus, without a bedrock of shared understanding, a common moral language, and accepted principles, society would simply dissolve into an atomized collection of individuals incapable of sustained cooperation or collective action. Order provides the essential continuity, the memory of what has worked, the inherited wisdom that allows a society to maintain its identity and cohesion across generations, ensuring that progress has a solid platform, not shifting sand. Then there is progress. If order provides the stable foundation, progress is the dynamic impulse that drives society forward. It is, for Comte, the ultimate goal of society to constantly develop, improve, and refine itself upon that stable order. Progress isn't about discarding everything that came before. Rather, it's about building upon it, correcting its flaws, incorporating new knowledge, and adapting to new circumstances. It encompasses innovation in science, advancements in technology, moral and intellectual enlightenment, and the continuous betterment of human conditions. This isn't progress for its own sake, but a reasoned, systematic evolution guided by scientific understanding and an ever-increasing altruism. It's about moving from less perfect states to more perfect ones, constantly refining our institutions, enhancing our ethical frameworks, and improving material conditions, always striving for greater enlightenment, efficiency, and universal human well-being. Progress, in the positivist view, is never revolutionary in the destructive sense, but rather an organic, cumulative process of improvement informed by the rational application of scientific principles to social organization and human conduct. To truly grasp the interdependent nature of order and progress, let's employ a simple yet powerful metaphor. Imagine a magnificent ancient tree. In this analogy, order represents the deep, strong roots of that tree. These roots anchor it firmly to the earth, drawing sustenance, providing stability against the winds and storms, and allowing the tree to stand tall and enduring. They are unseen, yet absolutely vital, connecting the tree to its history and foundation. Without these roots, the tree would topple at the slightest breeze, unable to grow or even survive. Now, progress is the tree's vigorous growth upwards and outwards, reaching for the sunlight, branching out, producing leaves, flowers, and fruit. This growth is the visible manifestation of life, the continuous adaptation and expansion that allows the tree to thrive, contribute to its ecosystem, and fulfill its potential. It is the constant upward striving, the perpetual renewal and development. Just as a tree needs both robust roots and vibrant growth to flourish, so too does society. Roots without growth lead to stagnation, decay. A tree that simply exists without fulfilling its purpose eventually withering. Conversely, growth without roots is unsustainable. A tree severed from its foundation will quickly perish, no matter how vigorously it might try to reach the sun. You absolutely need both. Order provides the continuity and stability, while progress offers the dynamism and improvement. One without the other leads either to rigid stagnation or chaotic collapse. This elegant philosophical framework offers a compelling lens through which to view many of our modern political debates. Often, political discourse is framed as an inherent conflict between conservative values, which prioritize tradition, stability, and established institutions, and progressive values which champion change, innovation, and reform. Comte's positivism suggests that this perceived dichotomy is a false one, or at least a misinterpretation of underlying societal needs. From a positivist perspective, genuine conservatism, rightly understood, is about preserving the beneficial aspects of order, the social cohesion, shared values, and stable institutions that have proven their worth over time. And true progressivism, at its best, is about thoughtfully guiding society towards improvement, leveraging new knowledge and insights to address existing problems and elevate human well-being, but always building upon, rather than carelessly demolishing, the existing social fabric. Comte's philosophy challenges us to move beyond simply choosing a side and instead to seek a synthesis, a dynamic interplay where tradition informs innovation and innovation respects the lessons of tradition. It suggests that the most effective and humane path forward is one where we actively work to identify and integrate the best aspects of both impulses, forging a societal engine where stability enables growth and growth enhances stability. In essence, Comte's vision of order and progress is not a call for a static utopia, nor for endless, undirected change. It is a profound appeal for a scientifically guided, morally informed, and socially cohesive path of continuous betterment. It is an invitation to understand society not as a battleground of opposing forces, but as a complex system requiring careful cultivation, balancing the wisdom of the past with the promise of the future. This delicate equilibrium, for Comte, is the true mark of a fully developed, truly human society, one that consistently strives for universal benevolence and the greatest good for all its members. Welcome back to our journey through Auguste Comte's A General View of Positivism. In this chapter, titled The Heart of Society, the Religion of Humanity, we delve into what is perhaps Comte's most audacious and, for many, most controversial proposition, the idea of a religion of humanity. Now, I understand that, for many of you, the word religion immediately conjures images of dogma, ritual, and supernatural belief. And indeed, this very term has been the primary source of misunderstanding and even ridicule surrounding Comte's later work. But it is precisely here that we must pause, set aside our preconceived notions, and carefully unpack what Comte truly meant. For him, the term religion was not about deities, sacred texts, or an afterlife. Instead, it signified a cohesive, unifying force for society, a shared ethical framework, a system of collective sentiments and practices designed to bind individuals into a moral community focused squarely on the betterment of humankind. It was, in essence, a quest for shared purpose and meaning, stripped entirely of superstition. Comte observed that traditional religions, for all their supernatural elements, provided a powerful social glue and a moral compass. As science advanced and supernatural explanations waned, he feared a moral vacuum, a fragmentation of society without a shared ethos. His religion of humanity was his secular answer to this challenge, a systematic attempt to organize human life around altruism and collective progress rather than individual salvation. It sought to harness the emotional, moral, and social power of religion and redirect it towards human ends. So, what were its core tenets? At its heart was the veneration of what Comte called the great being humanity itself, encompassing all individuals who have contributed to human progress, past, present, and future. This wasn't worship in the conventional sense, but a profound respect and gratitude for the accumulated wisdom, discoveries, art, and moral achievements of our predecessors. It meant acknowledging that we stand on the shoulders of giants, that our present comforts and knowledge are built upon countless generations of effort and sacrifice. By remembering and honoring the great minds, the inventors, the artists, the moral exemplars of the past, we foster humility, gratitude, and a sense of continuity. It's a way of celebrating our collective human legacy, understanding that our individual lives are part of a much grander, ongoing narrative of human development. Crucially, this reverence for the past was not an end in itself. It served as the foundation for the second core tenet, working actively and consciously for a better future for humanity. If we inherit so much, we also have a duty to contribute, to improve, and to pass on an even richer legacy to those who follow. This focus on the future demanded selfless action, a commitment to social progress, scientific advancement, and moral improvement for the benefit of all, not just ourselves. It emphasized the interconnectedness of all people, urging us to overcome egoism and act for the greater good. In this framework, good works meant tangible contributions to human knowledge, welfare, and social harmony. To encapsulate this vision, Comte proposed a powerful motto for positivism: love as a principle and order as the basis, progress as the goal. Let's break this down. Love as a principle underscores altruism as the guiding force for all human action. It means sympathy, benevolence, and a deep concern for others should inform our every decision. This emotional, moral drive is paramount, preventing cold rationality from becoming heartless. Order as the basis refers to the scientific understanding of the world and the establishment of stable, rational social structures based on observable facts and laws. It's about building society on a foundation of reason and empirical knowledge, ensuring stability and predictability. And finally, progress as the goal articulates the continuous, cumulative improvement of humanity, guided by love and facilitated by order. It signifies our collective striving towards a more advanced, more humane, and more enlightened future. This motto, therefore, beautifully synthesizes the emotional, intellectual, and practical dimensions of the religion of humanity. Now, you might be wondering, what relevance does this 19th century idea hold for us today? In an increasingly secular age, many societies grapple with a decline in traditional religious belief, yet the fundamental human needs for meaning, purpose, and community remain as strong as ever. People are searching for shared ethical frameworks, for ways to connect with something larger than themselves, and for principles to guide collective action in the face of global challenges. Kant's religion of humanity, despite its antiquated name, can be seen as a profound precursor to modern secular humanism, ethical movements, and even aspects of the effective altruism movement. It offers a framework for finding meaning not in the supernatural, but in our shared humanity, in our collective achievements, and in our responsibility to each other and to future generations. It reminds us that purpose can be found in contributing to the grand project of human progress, fostering a sense of belonging through shared values and a common destiny grounded firmly in the observable reality of our world. It stands as a testament to humanity's enduring quest for a shared moral compass, even as our understanding of the universe evolves. Welcome back to our exploration of Auguste Comte's profound vision for society as laid out in a General View of Positivism. We've traversed the intellectual landscape, examined the hierarchy of the sciences, and understood the three stages of human thought. Now, in Chapter 5, we arrive at what Comte considered the very heart of his philosophy, the moral imperative that would bind and uplift humanity, the moral compass altruism over egoism. It is here that we encounter a term that Comte himself meticulously coined, a word that has since woven itself into the fabric of our everyday language, yet whose origins and full philosophical weight are often overlooked: altruism. Derived from the Latin alter, meaning other, Comte introduced altruism as the fundamental principle demanding the subordination of selfish interests to the greater good of the community or humanity. It's a concept that directly challenges the raw, unbridled pursuit of personal gain, proposing instead a conscious, deliberate orientation towards the well-being of others. Comte's reasoning was stark and unequivocal. He posited that a society built purely upon self-interest, upon the relentless logic of egoism, was not only inherently unstable, but ultimately destined to collapse into chaos. Imagine a world where every individual acts solely for their own immediate benefit, without any regard for their neighbor, their community, or the broader human collective. Such a society, Comte argued, would be a perpetual battleground, devoid of cooperation, trust, or the shared vision necessary for progress. There would be no social glue, no common purpose, only isolated units competing fiercely until the entire edifice crumbled. For Comte, humanity's very nature, its capacity for empathy and social connection, pointed towards a different path, one where our individual existence finds its truest meaning and flourishing within the context of the collective. Living for others, he declared, was not merely a lofty ideal, but the essential, practical moral foundation for a functioning, progressive, and ultimately harmonious society. This is not some abstract, dusty philosophical concept confined to the pages of a 19th-century treatise. Altruism is a living, breathing force visible all around us, even if we don't always label it as such. Consider the countless individuals who dedicate their time to volunteering, whether it's cleaning up local parks, assisting at food banks, mentoring young people, or tirelessly working for animal shelters. They receive no direct monetary reward and often little recognition, yet they contribute immeasurably to the health and vibrancy of their communities. Their actions are a clear subordination of personal leisure or self-interest for the greater good. Think about the revolutionary impact of open-source collaboration in the digital age. Projects like Linux, Wikipedia, or countless software libraries thrive because individuals worldwide freely share their expertise, code, and knowledge, building something robust and accessible for everyone, not just for personal profit. This collective endeavor, driven by a spirit of generosity and shared advancement, perfectly embodies Comte's vision of humanity working together for common progress. Then there are those whose very professions demand an extraordinary degree of altruism: our frontline workers. Doctors, nurses, paramedics, firefighters, police officers during crises, and in their daily routines, they frequently put their own well-being at risk, enduring immense stress and personal sacrifice, all to serve and protect their communities. Their dedication, often extending far beyond the call of duty, is a profound testament to the power of living for others. But altruism isn't solely reserved for grand gestures or heroic acts. It manifests in myriad small, everyday kindnesses that ripple outwards, making the world a gentler place. It's the person who stops to help a stranger with a flat tire, the neighbor who mows an elderly person's lawn, the colleague who patiently explains a complex task, the parent who prioritizes their child's needs above their own sleep, or simply holding a door open with a genuine smile. These are all micro-expressions of altruism, subtle yet powerful affirmations of our interconnectedness, contributing to a culture of care and mutual support. As we conclude this chapter, I want to challenge you, the listener, to actively consider how a more conscious focus on altruism could profoundly reshape your own interactions and the communities you inhabit. What if, in your daily decisions, you pause to ask yourself, how will this action affect others? How can I contribute to the greater good, even in a small way? What if, instead of instinctively prioritizing your own convenience or gain, you made a deliberate choice to subordinate that impulse, even occasionally, for the benefit of someone else or for the collective? Could this shift in perspective change how you engage with your family, your colleagues, your neighbors, and even strangers? Comte believed that such a moral reorientation was not just aspirational, but entirely within our human capacity and absolutely essential for our collective journey towards a truly positive and progressive future. The moral compass, for Comte, points unequivocally towards altruism, guiding us away from the divisive forces of egoism and towards the unifying embrace of humanity. Welcome back, thoughtful listeners, to our continuing exploration of Auguste Comte's profound philosophy. We've journeyed through the intricate intellectual landscape of positivism, delving into its historical context, its core tenets, and its grand ambitions for societal reform and human enlightenment. Now, as we arrive at Chapter 6, we pivot decisively from the theoretical to the intensely practical. This isn't just an academic exercise, it's about equipping you, our listener, with a highly actionable positivist toolkit, a set of concrete strategies and steps to translate these powerful, often abstract, ideas into the fabric of your daily life. Our overarching goal is straightforward: to empower you to think with greater clarity, make more informed and effective decisions, and ultimately, to contribute more positively and meaningfully to the world around you, all guided by the enduring spirit of science, reason, and humanity that Comte championed so passionately. First, let's lay the foundational cornerstone of our toolkit, applying the scientific mindset directly to your personal decisions. Think about how often we navigate our lives based on vague gut feelings, deeply ingrained habits, cultural traditions we haven't questioned, or simply by following what everyone else seems to be doing. A positivist approach, in contrast, urges you to consciously adopt the rigorous, empirical methods of a scientist within your own personal sphere. This means observing your own experiences diligently, formulating clear hypotheses about what might work best for you, systematically testing those hypotheses, and then making conclusions and adjustments based on verifiable data and observable outcomes, rather than fleeting intuition or unsubstantiated beliefs. Consider your personal health, for example. Instead of vaguely attempting to eat better or exercise more, a truly scientific mindset would involve tracking your dietary intake with precision, monitoring your energy levels throughout the day, diligently observing how specific foods or exercise routines impact your mood, sleep, and physical performance. You would consult evidence-based nutritional science and medical research, treating your own body as a fascinating subject of study. Similarly, with your finances, rather than making impulsive purchases or relying on outdated advice, you would meticulously analyze your income and expenditure data, establish clear, realistic budgets founded on factual numbers, thoroughly research investment opportunities using credible data, and make choices grounded in demonstrable economic realities and statistical probabilities, rather than speculative hopes or anecdotal stories. It's about elevating your personal decision-making from subjective guesswork to objective, data-driven understanding. Next, let's delve into Auguste Comte's celebrated dictum, "Order and Progress," and discover how this fundamental principle resonates deeply within your individual journey. For Comte, societal order encompassing stability, predictable structures, and shared moral values was not an end in itself, but the absolutely necessary and robust foundation upon which sustainable progress, meaning genuine growth and continuous improvement, could be built. We can and should mirror this profound relationship in our own personal lives. Order for you might manifest as establishing a set of reliable, consistent routines, a predictable sleep schedule that optimizes your rest, a structured work rhythm that maximizes productivity, or dedicated, non-negotiable blocks of time for self-care, learning, or creative pursuits. These routines, far from being restrictive shackles, actually create immense mental and temporal space, a stable, reliable platform from which progress can confidently launch. Progress, in this personal context, means continually seeking to improve yourself, to acquire new knowledge, to master new skills, to broaden your intellectual and emotional understanding, and to adapt and evolve in response to life's challenges. If your days are characterized by chaos, unpredictability, and constant reactive decision-making, it becomes incredibly challenging to dedicate consistent, focused energy to mastering a new language, delving deeply into a complex academic subject, or developing a new professional competency. By first diligently establishing a profound order in your daily existence, a predictable, supportive foundation, you inherently build the resilience, the focus, and the sustained capacity required to pursue truly meaningful and lasting progress without succumbing to burnout or distraction. It is through disciplined stability that dynamic, continuous growth becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Comte believed passionately that the pinnacle of human fulfillment lay in living for others, a principle he famously termed altruism, a word he himself coined. But let's be clear, this isn't about feeling compelled to perform grand, heroic, self-sacrificing gestures every single day. Instead, it's about consciously cultivating a consistent habit of small, thoughtful acts of service and kindness that, when performed regularly, cumulatively strengthen your immediate community and profoundly enrich your own life in unexpected ways. Think about the myriad opportunities available to you, a genuine offer to hold a door open for a stranger, offering a sincere and uplifting compliment, actively and empathetically listening to a friend in need without judgment, generously sharing a useful skill or piece of knowledge with a neighbor, taking a moment to pick up litter you encounter, or simply choosing to be present, patient, and kind in all your daily interactions. These seemingly minor actions, when consistently integrated into your routine, act like threads weaving a stronger, more resilient social fabric. They naturally foster deeper empathy, build vital trust among individuals, and serve as powerful reminders of our fundamental interconnectedness. Practicing daily altruism isn't just a benevolent act for others, it fundamentally shifts your perspective, diminishes self-preoccupation, and demonstrably contributes to your own personal well-being, sense of purpose, and overall happiness. It is, in essence, the practical and heartwarming embodiment of Comte's grand vision for a society bound not by dogma, but by profound human sympathy. Finally, in our hyper-connected, often overwhelming, and information-saturated modern world, perhaps one of the most vital and transformative positivist tools you can wield is the manner in which you consume and process information. A positivist approach here demands unwavering intellectual rigor. It calls for you to habitually question the sources of your information, to actively seek out empirical evidence to support claims, and to develop a keen ability to distinguish verifiable facts from unsubstantiated assertions or fleeting opinions. When you encounter any new piece of information, whether it's a news article, a social media post, a scientific study, or a casual conversation, make it a reflex to ask yourself who is presenting this information. What are their professional credentials or areas of expertise? Is there a discernible bias or a hidden agenda that might influence their perspective? Most importantly, what is the actual evidence supporting this claim? Is it based on rigorous, peer-reviewed studies, directly observable data, or statistical analysis? Or is it merely anecdotal, speculative, or designed to appeal primarily to emotion rather than reason? A positivist mindset encourages you to politely but firmly set aside what Comte referred to as metaphysical or speculative claims, assertions that fundamentally cannot be empirically tested, observed, or verified, in favor of knowledge that is firmly grounded in objective observation and logical reason. This isn't about dismissing all beliefs, especially those of faith, but it's about clearly understanding the domain of the knowledge you're engaging with. Is it a proven scientific fact, a carefully constructed philosophical argument, a widely accepted historical account, or simply a personal opinion or a subjective belief? Cultivating this critical, evidence-seeking filter is absolutely essential for avoiding the pitfalls of misinformation, thinking with unparalleled clarity, and making decisions that are truly based on reality, rather than on wishful thinking, unfounded assertions, or manipulative narratives. By consciously integrating these four powerful principles into your daily existence, adopting a scientific mindset in your personal decisions, diligently balancing personal order with meaningful progress, practicing consistent daily altruism, and embracing a rigorously positivist approach to information consumption, you will begin to embody Auguste Comte's transformative vision in a profoundly tangible and personal way. This isn't a rigid dogma to be followed blindly, but rather a flexible and empowering toolkit designed to cultivate habits of mind and action that will enable you to navigate the increasing complexities of modern life with remarkably greater clarity, unwavering purpose, and undeniable effectiveness. The journey of transforming these grand theories into practical, daily practice doesn't require an overnight revolution. It begins with a single conscious step. I encourage you to start small. Perhaps pick just one area to apply a scientific approach, one routine to solidify for greater order, or one small act of service to weave into your day. Embrace your positivist toolkit, and you will undoubtedly witness how it not only sharpens your thinking, but also profoundly enriches your personal world and your contributions to the human community. We've explored the profound ideas of Auguste Comte and the very essence of positivism, but true understanding blossoms into wisdom only when put into practice. It's time to move beyond passive listening and actively integrate these transformative principles into your daily life. I'm inviting you to embark on your 7-day Positivist Challenge, an action plan, a concrete, step-by-step guide designed to help you cultivate a more evidence-based, ordered, progressive, and altruistic way of being. This challenge isn't about grand gestures. It's about making small, consistent steps that build lasting habits and profoundly shift your perspective on the world. Each day offers a simple, actionable step to ground Comte's philosophy in your reality, starting right now. Days 1 and 2, embracing evidence. The cornerstone of positivism is its unwavering commitment to empirical evidence and rigorous critical inquiry. For the first 2 days of our challenge, your mission is to sharpen these vital faculties. On day 1, take a proactive step in today's information-saturated world. Choose one piece of news you encounter, whether it's scrolling through your social media feed, a headline from a news aggregator, or a discussion snippet from a podcast, and actively commit to fact-checking it. Don't stop at the surface. Go beyond the initial claim, seek out original sources, scrutinize methodologies if research is cited, consider any potential biases in the reporting, and weigh the presented information against verifiable, independent data. The purpose here isn't solely to prove or disprove a point, but to meticulously understand the true evidentiary basis of the claim, thereby training your mind to seek truth through verifiable data, a hallmark of the positivist approach. On day 2, we turn that same rigorous critical lens inward. Identify one personal opinion you hold, particularly one that you feel quite strongly about. This could be a belief about a social issue, a political stance, a judgment regarding a public figure, a strong personal preference you frequently defend, or even an assumption about a group of people. Now, honestly and dispassionately assess, is this opinion truly based on empirical evidence, verifiable facts, or logical deduction? Or is it perhaps rooted more in an inherited idea, a cultural norm, a gut feeling, an emotional response, or something you've simply absorbed without critical questioning? This isn't about abandoning your convictions, but about understanding their true foundations. It's a crucial step in distinguishing between a well-supported conclusion and a mere assumption, cultivating intellectual humility and applying a scientific approach to your own thought processes. Days 3 and 4, cultivating order and progress. With evidence as your solid foundation, we now turn to Comte's dynamic vision of order and progress, not as abstract societal ideals, but as actionable principles you can integrate directly into your personal sphere. On day 3, dedicate a focused 30 minutes to bringing order to one small, manageable area of your life. This doesn't require an entire home overhaul. It could be your physical workspace, organizing your desk, tidying up a specific drawer, or decluttering your immediate surroundings. Alternatively, it could be a digital space, like organizing your computer files, clearing out your email inbox, or streamlining your phone apps. Even bringing order to your daily to-do list by prioritizing and structuring tasks counts. The simple act of imposing structure and clarity on a chaotic space, however small, reflects the positivist belief in systematic improvement and creates an environment conducive to clear thinking, efficient action, and enhanced mental serenity. Order truly provides the stable ground upon which lasting progress can be built. On day 4, wholeheartedly embrace the spirit of progress by spending 30 minutes learning a new skill or expanding your knowledge in an area that genuinely piques your interest. Again, this isn't about achieving mastery in half an hour, but about committing to continuous self-improvement and intellectual growth, a fundamental hallmark of human development, according to Comte. This could involve learning a few basic phrases in a new language, watching an educational video on a complex scientific concept, practicing a new chord on a musical instrument, exploring a specific, unfamiliar feature of a software program you use regularly, or delving into a historical event you know little about. The key is intentional, focused learning that gently pushes your personal intellectual or practical boundaries, fostering a vital sense of ongoing personal evolution. Days 5 and 6, practicing altruism. Comte envisioned a truly harmonious society bound together by the profound principle of altruism, the selfless concern for the well-being of others, consistently placing the collective good above individual ego. For these 2 days, your challenge is to actively embody this profound spirit in your own actions. On either day 5 or day 6, perform one anonymous favor for someone within your sphere, be it a family member, a colleague in your workplace, or someone in your local community. The emphasis on anonymity is absolutely crucial here. It intentionally shifts the focus from seeking recognition, praise, or reciprocity to the pure, unadulterated act of contributing positively to another's life without any expectation of personal gain. This could involve quietly tidying up a shared common space at home or work without being asked, assisting a colleague discreetly with a task you notice they're struggling with, leaving an encouraging, unsigned note for someone who might need a lift, or offering a small, unnoticed gesture of help to a neighbor. The immediate impact of the favor might seem small, but the internal shift in your focus from "what can I get" to "what can I give" is profoundly transformative. This exercise is about actively expanding your circle of concern and experiencing the deep, quiet satisfaction that comes from selfless service, fostering a powerful sense of human solidarity. Day 7, deepening through reflection. Finally, on day 7, take a dedicated 10 minutes to pause, disconnect from distractions, and truly reflect on your week-long journey. Grab a pen and paper, or open a digital journal and record your honest thoughts and observations. How did consciously applying the principles of evidence-based thinking, personal order, continuous progress, and altruism affect your mood and overall emotional state throughout the week? Did you notice any subtle or significant shifts in your daily decisions, your priorities, or your responses to challenges and opportunities? How did your interactions with family, friends, or colleagues change, if at all, when you approached them with a positivist mindset? What did you learn about yourself, your ingrained habits, and your immediate environment through these specific exercises? This reflective practice is absolutely vital for integrating new patterns of thought and action and for cementing the valuable insights you've gained. It transforms a series of individual actions into a coherent, meaningful learning experience, allowing you to recognize the tangible, real-world benefits of consciously adopting a positivist mindset. This 7-day challenge is far more than just a fleeting exercise. It's an invitation to take the abstract philosophies of Auguste Comte and make them concrete, to truly turn passive listening into active, purposeful living. By consistently applying these principles, even in these small, manageable ways, you'll not only gain a deeper, experiential understanding of positivism, but also cultivate a more thoughtful, purposeful, and compassionate approach to your own life and to the world around you. Keep practicing, keep observing, and keep growing. Your positivist journey truly begins now. Embrace it. All right, we've journeyed through the intricate landscape of Auguste Comte's A General View of Positivism, exploring his grand vision for humanity. It's a work that challenges us to rethink the very foundations of knowledge, society, and our purpose. Now, let's distill this rich tapestry into 3 fundamental, actionable principles, core takeaways that encapsulate the essence of Comte's philosophy for a modern audience, principles you can carry forward long after this video concludes. Think of these as the 3 pillars of a positivistic approach to life in the 21st century. First, and perhaps most foundational, think like a scientist. This isn't just about laboratory coats and test tubes, it's a profound shift in mindset. Comte urged us to base our beliefs, our understanding of the world, and our decisions on real-world evidence, observation, and verifiable facts, not on unchecked speculation, blind faith, or unchallenged authority figures. He called this the positive stage of human development, where humanity moves beyond theological explanations or abstract metaphysical reasoning to embrace empirical inquiry. For us, in an age saturated with information and unfortunately misinformation, this means cultivating a rigorous intellectual skepticism. It means questioning narratives, seeking out diverse sources, and demanding data before committing to a stance. It means approaching problems, whether personal or societal, with a spirit of objective analysis, identifying causes and effects based on observable phenomena. When you think like a scientist, you're not just accepting what you're told, you're actively seeking to understand how and why things work, constantly refining your hypotheses based on new evidence. It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and constructing knowledge that is robust and reliable, much like the scientific method itself. This isn't about abandoning values or meaning, but about building them on a foundation that is demonstrably sound, allowing for genuine progress because we're working with reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. This rigorous, evidence-based approach applies not only to understanding the natural world, but critically to human society and personal ethics, fostering true enlightenment. Our second core takeaway is to balance order and progress. This principle lies at the very heart of Kant's social philosophy and is incredibly relevant to our often polarized world. Kant recognized that societies, like individuals, need both stability and dynamism to thrive. Order represents the structures, traditions, and institutions that provide stability, cohesion, and a shared sense of identity. It's about honoring what works, understanding the value of established systems, and recognizing that not everything old is necessarily bad. Progress, on the other hand, is the relentless drive towards improvement, innovation, and betterment. It's about identifying shortcomings, seeking more effective solutions, and striving to create a more just, efficient, and fulfilling existence for all. The challenge, Kant argued, is not to choose between them, but to achieve a harmonious equilibrium. Radical, unchecked progress without regard for existing order can lead to chaos and destruction, as witnessed in various historical upheavals. Conversely, clinging rigidly to order without allowing for progress leads to stagnation, decline, and ultimately, irrelevance. For us, this means being thoughtful reformers rather than outright revolutionaries. It means appreciating the foundations that have brought us this far, while simultaneously being open-minded and proactive in identifying areas for improvement, whether in our personal routines, our communities, our workplaces, or our political systems. It's about careful, evidence-based evolution, continually striving to make things better while preserving the essential stability needed for that improvement to take root and flourish. It's recognizing that true advancement is built upon a stable base, not on shifting sands. Finally, and perhaps most profoundly, our third takeaway is to live for others. This is where Kant's philosophy culminates in his vision of the religion of humanity, a secular moral system centered on altruism. For Kant, individual self-interest, while natural, is ultimately insufficient for a truly flourishing society or a truly meaningful life. He believed that our greatest purpose and deepest satisfaction come from contributing to the well-being and collective progress of humanity. This isn't about self-sacrifice to the point of personal detriment, but about understanding our inherent interconnectedness. It means cultivating empathy, recognizing our responsibilities not just to ourselves and our immediate circles, but to the broader community, to future generations, and indeed, to the entire human race. It manifests in countless ways, from choosing a career that serves a greater good, to volunteering in your community, to making ethical consumer choices, to engaging in civic discourse with a genuine desire for collective improvement rather than solely individual gain. It's about moving beyond an egocentric perspective to a sociocentric one, where you see yourself as an integral, contributing part of something far larger and more enduring. When we live for others, we transcend our individual limitations and tap into a profound sense of shared purpose. It imbues life with a richer meaning, fostering cooperation, compassion, and a collective drive towards a better future, a future where the well-being of all is the ultimate measure of success. This altruistic imperative isn't just a moral suggestion. For Kant, it's the very engine of genuine human progress, uniting us in a common cause. So there you have it, three powerful, enduring principles distilled from Auguste Comte's A General View of Positivism. Think like a scientist, balance order and progress, and live for others. These aren't just academic concepts, they are practical, actionable frameworks for navigating the complexities of modern life, for shaping a more rational, stable, and compassionate society. They invite us to engage with the world thoughtfully, to build constructively, and to connect deeply with our shared humanity. By embracing these principles, we don't just understand Kant, we begin to embody the positivistic spirit he envisioned, contributing to the ongoing project of human betterment. And so, we reach the end of our journey through Auguste Comte's A General View of Positivism. But the conversation doesn't have to stop here. Positivism invites us to build a better world through reason, observation, and collective action, always striving towards the betterment of humanity. Which of these profound ideas, or perhaps another aspect we've touched upon that resonates deeply with you, do you think is most needed in the world today? Do you believe in the power of a scientifically informed social order, or does the emphasis on altruism above all else strike you as particularly vital? Share your thoughts, your agreements, or your thoughtful disagreements in the comments below. Let's make this a space for active, ongoing, and respectful discussion where we can collectively unpack the enduring relevance of Kant's vision. Your perspective is a valuable part of this community, and we genuinely look forward to hearing it. If you found value in this breakdown, if it helped you navigate the intricate landscape of Kant's thought, and perhaps illuminated new pathways for your own understanding, please take a moment to like this video. Your likes are a simple but powerful way to signal appreciation and help us reach more curious minds seeking intellectual engagement. And if you're keen on more deep dives into foundational philosophical texts, into the minds of the thinkers who have shaped our understanding of reality, and into the ideas that continue to influence our world, then be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't miss out on future explorations as we continue to journey through the vast landscape of knowledge together. Finally, consider sharing this video. Is there someone in your life, a friend, a colleague, a family member, or perhaps even a student who you know is searching for a clearer framework to understand the complexities of the modern world, or who simply loves exploring foundational philosophical concepts and the history of ideas? Share this video with them. Let's spread these profound ideas and spark new discussions beyond this platform, encouraging critical thinking and intellectual curiosity in wider circles. And if our discussion today has ignited a deeper curiosity within you, I highly encourage you to explore more. There's nothing quite like engaging directly with the source material, so pick up a copy of A General View of Positivism itself. Reading Kant's own words offers a richer, more nuanced understanding of his grand design for humanity. Alternatively, or perhaps in addition, delve into the rich and complex history of sociology, a discipline profoundly influenced by Kant's pioneering work, often considered its very founder. Understanding its evolution will further contextualize Kant's revolutionary contributions. Your journey into understanding can always continue, and we sincerely hope this video has been a valuable and inspiring stepping stone on that path. Thank you for joining us in this exploration. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep engaging with the ideas that shape our world.